those who can hear me, I say, do not despair. The misery that is now upon us is but the passing of greed, the bitterness of men who fear the way of human progress. The hate of men will pass, and dictators die, and the power they took from the people will return to the people. And so long as men die, liberty will never perish. Soldiers, don't give yourselves to brutes. Men who despise you, enslave you, who regiment your lives, tell you what to do, what to think, and what to feel, who drill you, diet you, treat you like cattle, use you as cannon fodder. Don't give yourselves to these unnatural men, machine men with machine minds and machine hearts. You are not machines, you are not cattle, you are men.
That's better option if you do it, a lot safer, I think.
Wow.
Welcome in.
Damn. A mime is a terrible thing to waste.
It is actually.
That's horrible.
Welcome in, everybody. The legacy ride has taken over. I'm your host. As you can see, Joe's still here. We booted him. I called it in. So, but welcome to World Blockchain Roundtable. I'm Zach of the Legacy Right. Here are our hosts today. Joe, obviously, the great Joe Rotes. So he will be with us for a minute. We have William, I am for I am. Oh, everybody's favorite friend, everybody's buddy, Satoshi Sean. We have Greg from Rivet, and we have the other criminal mastermind in Andrew, my co-host of the Legacy Right. So Godspeed to Lisa. I know that you couldn't be here yet again, but what did we talk about last week, guys?
I know. I just thought about it. We have the great
So
Joe Rotskin.
Dragon King.
The Dragon King. So we talked about the Roman Storm case. Anything we want to add from that? Anything?
Just that and I don't know, we didn't get a chance to talk about this on the show. It happened as the show was happening. The Justice Department apparently sent out some like upper middle lackey to a technologists conference that was like one of those sort of cordoned off WEF ones where you only get like Bob Iger pretending Disney's a tech company plus like a bunch of other shitty billionaires from SaaS companies and a bunch of Salesforce people, right? Like those things, the ones where they don't invite anybody who might say anything inflammatory. Well, they assembled this audience and then just held Jackson Hole for Tech, basically, where the DOJ says generally in their guidance in the speech, generally speaking, builders of general use tools that have multiple purposes for use that don't include criminal use will not be prosecuted. And this won't happen again, generally. So what they're saying is what we did here, we're not going to use that. And they said specifically 1960. It was like a reference to the Roman Storm case without saying the words tornado cash or Roman Storm. It was pretty incredible. They literally said Bush v. Gore Part 2. It was like that line from the 2000 Bush case where the president says, we only consider the present circumstances and don't use this case as precedent for future voting cases. It was sort of like they're just like going to continue to prosecute Storm and then pretend like they got a win by accident and just on our honor not going to do it again. So
Yeah,
we're living in that kind of absurd double reality now.
It's 1984.
Yep. Well,
Yeah.
worse. I think it's worse than 1984.
I think
The law
it
is both alive and dead depending on the state you look at it in.
I just want to say I love.
Or
my
depending on
government.
the state looks at it, and I guess the state's the only observer for that particular cat box.
welcome in, Lisa.
Thanks, guys.
Welcome, Lisa. See,
Good to have
all I
you.
had to do was say your name, and she pops in.
I'm alive. I'm alive. Yeah, I look forward to this so much. So I'm taking a break from unpacking and ran upstairs and jumped in and wanted to say hi to everybody and
Awesome.
and try
To
to
speak of the mighty, and she shall appear.
Way to go, Lisa. Good to see you.
Thank you. Thank
Good
you.
to see. Well, from last week, every host from last week will receive 111 lot for the Roman Storm case. Greg gets himself 55 lot for his topic nomination, coming up quickly on the Emperor and the Dragon King. And all the ownership tokens come with perpetual passive income, free edits, and governance votes. So, and speaking of such, let's do it. Oh shoot! If I can keep my tab up, I need to get a second computer.
There you go.
We don't need a recount. That's all I just want to say. We don't need a recount.
I did not get to vote in the live. Is that what you're posting? Oh,
are you posting the lot total?
Maybe. No, I'm posting up the September one if I can figure it out. You know what? I can't figure it out.
Can I do this? Is this what you want? Oops.
Yeah, that's what I want.
Oh wow! It's there. It is.
There we go.
Nice.
There we go. Someone already voted for technocracy prevention. I wonder who that was.
Nice.
Yeah, it looks like you know what?
Nobody
that
in
will be the
democracy
first
votes
week,
for that,
September
apparently.
4th, right? That is Aaron Day's big push now, is the fight against technocracy. We really need to try to get him on there. I'll DM him right now and invite him to next week's show.
Yeah, that'd be important
for sure.
Yeah, definitely for sure on that one.
He was on a roundtable yesterday about the fight against technocracy.
I don't know,
sure
man.
another one
We're
tonight.
pretty much using movies as guides now. You know, Idiocracy, so on. Technocracy.
Idiocracy is kind of one of the obvious ones.
Blade Runner,
but
Aliens. I mean, every Killjoys. I could on and on. It's kind of that's where we go.
Well, I mean, look at the current president. He's taken all of his cues from Fox News and stuff like that. So are you really not too terribly surprised?
So what's the most like out of the blue movie you guys would compare today to? Just make an analogy to a movie that nobody has thought of in a while.
Saw. That's what I feel like right now.
Yep. Metropolis.
That's good. Metropolis, yeah.
Reanimator.
I'm a blank because I don't watch movies. Whoops.
I'm gonna go with The Legend of the Overfiend.
I'm more of a Red Dawn girl. I'm ready to.
Red Dawn is the what we want.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
I bought and I started watching. My friend, she's like, "It's all I watch is this show," and I'm like, "Dude, it's so silly." And it was on sale, and I bought it, the whole series. I watched it, and it made me so sad.
What is it? What show?
Little House on the Prairie.
Oh my gosh,
that one.
Yeah.
To see like where we were.
That's like you might as well just read Where the Red Fern Grows and get it over with.
It's like, oh my God.
I will tell you. Here's an exercise for everyone. And this just happened randomly. I don't know why. For some reason, and this was a few years ago. We got like the family, like my son and my daughter, youngest. We started watching Leave It to Beaver, and it was just such a so separated. It was like, oh my gosh, and it was weird because
it was prototype CIA propaganda. It's fantastic.
You watch a few episodes and you walk away, and I'm not kidding you. It makes you feel different. You're like, it's like everything is much more relaxed. It's like the world isn't horrible. And
plus they were also applying like first layer Bernays to that whole series.
Yeah,
right? Like it was all just like audience flattery coupled with repetition, coupled with moving imagery and sounds.
I will tell you.
And then you watch Good Times.
The other one that we've been doing recently is if you watch, and you have to get into it, and you have to. It's a little bit of a chore to figure out what to watch, but you start watching anime on Crunchyroll, not Netflix anime,
yeah.
not anime on Amazon, not anime anywhere in any of the US markets. You go get one of those and you find one that's family friendly. And some of these are so crazy because the entire time you're like, okay, that's probably the bad person. They're going to backstab. And it's like, no, it's just somebody in the community, and everybody is supportive, and everybody's trying to help this little girl get to whatever her goals are. And it's just like, holy crap. And some of them are really entertaining, right? But it is unbelievable culturally how different it is. There's no degenerate BS in there. So
it's how positive the roles that they present for people are, even in the adult ones, right? Like there's I mean, like, even if you take like the quintessential example of the most bannable piece of anime ever, right? It's like, I can't pronounce the long K word at the start of the title. Is like Kimikuri something or other, Legend of the Overfiend. Literally, if you look at the images as a censor, you go and like, well, here's a frame with dick monsters splitting people in half. Here's another frame with that. It's just like a whole movie of that happening, sort of visually. Yeah. But as this world takeover demon plot plays out, that actually has like epic sweeping scope in similar ways to, something you might consider more like a sci-fi book or Chrono Trigger, the video game, or something like that, where the main hero ends up trying to save the world, only to find out that they were to become its destroyer, right? Tragic piece of beautiful art, but like dick monsters everywhere ripping people in half. So most people don't think to look at the story and see if it's got some depth.
Wow.
Joe said, I felt so disconnected.
But it does.
It wasn't like I was watching like something from history or, a show, a drama. Mm-hmm. It's like I was watching the History Channel. And it was like Neanderthals. They were different people.
Yeah. Well, anybody who's ever taken like ancient history courses, if you read some of the source materials for an ancient history course, it will blow your mind how foreign these people are. They will talk about concepts that have no relation to anything today. They see the world entirely different ways, and it's a good thing to kind of go into. You're like, that is bizarre that you could, that world existed.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. You guys mentioned
what's really interesting little technical detail about anime. Do you know that they don't animate all the frames that you see in a normal cinema frame? They actually animate every other frame. So you're seeing something like 13 frames per second, but the way they do it makes your brain trick into thinking it's smooth.
Some of this stuff's really brilliant. The way they'll do stuff where the background is in motion and the characters not. There's some pretty slick stuff they do. Free Ren.
They're also unafraid of not putting background on everything all the time.
Is god tier stuff. If you watch Free Ren, I don't know if you guys have seen it. It's really amazing. So
is that another form of anime, or is that
that's just
it's a series.
Yeah. It is really amazing. Anyway,
nothing about it.
If you do get into it though, be prepared to start watching series instead of movies, because movies are few and far between.
Yeah.
And you can't even really filter for them. So just think of the series as something to binge like a film. And
Little House on the Prairie I've not seen in a long time. They had like I remember the blonde girl was the mean girl. I remember that.
She horrible. She scared the crap out. She tried to kill her brother.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. He
also weird about
ate
anime?
her cookie or something, and she's like, "Hey, let's go in the deep freeze. Let me lock you in." Locked him in there.
Short episodes, long
intros.
intros and
on morphine. She was addicted to freaking morphine.
Really?
Yeah, she was.
Nellie Olson. Yeah.
What's Nellie Olson? Wow.
Yeah.
Was she like?
What if you
was she like the epitome of Lizzie Borden?
Verse as an intro to a show every time? That's anime.
That was in Kansas, wasn't it? I'm pretty sure it was Kansas.
Yes.
Yes.
That made me think of you guys because they went to. That's not actually the Little House on the Prairie. That's another thing, dude. It blew my mind. So they lived in Ohio, but there wasn't enough game, so they're going to starve. So they moved to this little house on this prairie, and they built it, and this is where we're going to live. And then the government made a treaty, and they lost their land.
Really?
It was like Deep Space Nine, the Maquis thing. So the like two soldiers go to him, just give him his paper, and he's like, "We got to leave." And we're like, why? He goes, because government redrew a line, and now we can't live here anymore. and then they had to leave the little house on the prairie, and that's when they went to the big, town, because they wanted to live in the middle of nowhere, and then they went to the town.
Oh, I didn't know. I never didn't realize that. Wow.
Yeah,
it's okay because your emperor loves his government.
He's muted.
So, isn't the official one though kind of an interesting place? So, like the actual story that it was based on placed that somewhere rather novel.
Don't talk ill of our rulers. Look at I pop in and
That
pop
sounds
out.
like a good
Weird. Yeah,
transition.
you had to be.
You lost your head.
That.
Off with your head. Oh my goodness. It's so funny that you guys are talking about this last night. We were watching, I found a new app. Download this free app, and it has all this wholesome shows. It's called BYU. So I don't know if that's Brigham Young University. I don't know if Mormons are putting out free streaming, but it's like
Probably.
It's like they have like classic.
That seems like a oppressively charitably Mormon thing to do to me.
It might be, but they have a classic novel like
I have a lot of Mormon friends.
movies,
I love you guys.
and then they have
cool.
and then they had like this sweet little dog movie about the yellow dog, and so Cannon and Mom and I watched this sweet movie about yellow dog that saves this boy that gets lost in the woods, and
Can we actually just kind of get a fist bump for Mormons generally? They're pretty cool, actually.
Oh, yeah.
I've known a lot of Mormons, and I always end up friends with them.
Yeah,
I used to be
Shit,
Mormon
that's
too.
pretty rando.
I lived in Bellevue, so there are a bunch of Mormons in Bellevue,
like
Washington. So.
Most unlikely human to convert who appreciates you right here.
I even served a mission.
I knew a Mormon. I still know him. His name's James.
Cool.
I don't know any Belgians.
Belgians. I know a lot of Belgians.
You know,
I like
one
Belgian chocolate. I tell you what, the Belgians. Oh, look at it. He's disappearing. William keeps disappearing.
Crap on the Belgians. He's gonna lose his head again.
Yes. All right. So, what's next?
I gotta change out my camera. And by the way, I love my
What
government.
is next?
Is it your government?
That's why you take the time to design things that have to do with it. Jeez. No,
I do have. I did put this together real quick.
Don't give yourselves to a Brutus. Men who
It's a little bit too
and slave.
much, isn't it? Anyway, it's that same speech. I was like, we have it. We have it now at our hands.
It sounded like the McTalker voice.
It did.
That was fantastic.
Since we love our government so much, this week's topic is blockchain solutions for a world governing body. Oh my!
Neat.
So let me refresh.
Zach.
Got to do the Joe thing.
Zach
Yes.
attack.
So wait a second.
great
Did I
topic.
nominate this?
Seems like it.
Wow.
Well, holy shit.
Wow.
There you go. Maybe we should require whoever nominated it to host the show. That's probably what you should do, right?
Hey, that's a good idea.
That is a good idea, actually. And what
that means people who
could
could nominate, right? Like you get in here, you nominate, you can actually get your idea on the show as you lead the show, which is a pretty cool way to
that
be the kind of person who
would
comes
be
up
pretty
with
cool.
the
And we need
question.
sponsors. We need some way to have a budget so that we can go and do crazy things with the budget.
Yes.
Mm.
Like wingsuit off of blimps.
Yes, while live.
If you guys pay for it, I will do it. Okay. Assuming we don't cut corners on costs for safety.
Greg will do those things.
I think someone should get with the AFL.
It's a lifelong dream of mine to wingsuit off of a blimp.
And see if we can get sponsored.
I think we should film the next show like maybe in Epstein's cell. By the way, where's the list? Did you get the list? I haven't seen the list yet.
I think we saw the first.
It's been on the internet for a long time.
Right?
There is no list.
There is no
it's
list.
Not the list you're looking for.
Good one, Sean.
What a freaking joke,
dude! What about blimp jousting?
Sorry, Zach.
That sounds like it'd be fun.
You.
Speaking of taking over, though, you're all taking over. Yeah, Andrew. Andrew, it looks like you have the first question.
You can have the wingsuits to bail out.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yes, we may need to bail out after this question. How quickly can blockchain tech replace the International Monetary Fund? I don't expect a correct answer, just an educated guess. And who wants to start? Go ahead, Joe.
1 week or less. Yep.
That's it?
Yeah.
Short,
1 week or
sweet,
less.
to the point.
It can be
William?
done easy.
How about you, William?
I can make it happen in 4 days. Make that monetary fund on blockchain.
Yes.
Okay. I've got one because it's literally the right answer.
You skipped over
whoa, whoa,
Andrew.
whoa.
You skipped
Hey.
Andrew.
Oh shit.
Andrew, would you like to answer your own question?
I'd calculated based on how quickly XRP replaces the monetary system.
Oh, so
That's a
instantly.
good answer.
Swift. I mean Swift.
Yes, it's very swift.
How? So to answer the question, how quickly can it happen? Right, like that answer is one Planck time, but how quickly will it happen? Probably an infinite number of those.
That'd be good.
Infinite number of Planck time. Okay.
That's a Planck time continuum.
Planck time for the peanut gallery.
Did we own the chum bucket?
Is the smallest measurable unit of time.
So
That
very
was a good joke.
swiftly.
That was a good joke.
Wait, yeah,
That
Sean
was.
had something about the chum bucket. What was this?
What about the chum bucket, Sean?
Oh, Greg was talking about Planck time, and I'm
Oh.
Planck pin.
I actually believe in Planck time myself. I'm more of a stateless LQG guy, but that's another subject.
I gotta tell you about the International Monetary Fund. We talk crap, but that's a powerful entity, man.
It is.
We're Americans, and we can go around swinging our dong and smacking Canada upside the head and anyone else. We could do whatever the hell we want to, because
they are at least.
We could take over the whole ball, and there's not a damn thing anyone could do about it, and they know it. And that must be a terrible way to live, and I feel bad for them. But to see Venezuela? No. Argentina stand up, and to see other countries stand up to the IMF and be like, hey, screw you, IMF, we're fucking punk rock. And they all bend the knee.
They can't even say screw off.
I think how powerful is that entity really when, these whole countries, they finally stand up, they go with crypto, they go with what they want to go with their own, assets, and they all bend the damn knee. It scares me.
It's the power of debt, right? Because that's what the IMF peddles in. The IMF is like the ultimate sort of vulture capitalist, because what they do is they wait for an area to be in fiscal crisis, either because they have no government, just because their government has sent them into hyperinflation, or because the parasite malfunctioned. They need money, and they don't have a central bank that prints it. So what do? The U.S. prints it, gives it to the IMF, basically, through the International Monetary System. They created a thing called special drawing rights at the World Bank, so they could.
You could not describe the mafia any better.
Yeah, no, it's really screwed up.
Literally, it's like
Lisa. Anything to add?
Yeah, I believe they already have. It already has.
It's just a centralized blockchain.
I think it's already done. I think we're just living through the transition of that.
Well, I got a comment about the International Monetary. I'm sorry, Lisa, were you done?
I just think we just have to choose. What world do we want to live in? We choose. Where do we put our energy?
Not one run by Basel III prescriptions. Let's hope.
But we choose.
Also, I think a lot of it has to do with, like we said, the U.S. I think if have that like Goldfinger and they open they do audit Fort Knox or something happens and it's like, oh, there is no gold. Oh, America has no actual wealth. It's all just violence, and it's all based on the dollar. If they lose that pillar of strength, it'll crumble.
Except for that's not really true, right? Ultimately, humans are making value when they exchange freely. So as long as there is a free exchange that occurs after, like black markets now do outside of the dollar system, then wealth will still get created. The question is enough wealth going to get destroyed when that shit falls apart that it won't matter?
I was going to say that there are rumors, and the UK government has not said that they're false, that they're actually bankrupt and they're going to the IMF right now asking for a loan. So the mighty British Empire now is at the point where they're begging the IMF to step in. It's also kind of a ploy because I think this will be their excuse to say, see, we should have never left the EU. We need to go back to the EU. And when the IMF steps in, it's going to be an unbelievable hell for.
How much do you want to bet the loan terms functionally put them involuntarily back in the EU, whether they want it or not?
Right. So that's happening very quickly, and that's well, I'd already said that Europe has fallen, and the UK fell before them because of this.
The UK might be rising, actually. I think the UK might be coming back to us soon.
No, I don't think so. I don't think we want.
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to work because there's so much anger there because of the migrant.
Yeah,
and not just
a genuine population revolt,
the sucking of the wealth of the British people for that. And then if you say, "Oh, we don't have any money left," while people are complaining about the money you're just giving away, that's the worst time that you could do it.
Yeah.
Well,
anyway, Andrew, your question was very
artifacts from Britain.
Well timed.
That was very.
Do you guys ever looking for artifacts from Britain? A little audible here. Do you guys ever looking for artifacts from occupied Britain right now to see if you can get signal out of the noise that they're filtering out? Like, I'm pretty sure that nobody in there can scream and we can hear them.
That's true. I don't think they can.
Yeah.
You
have to have a dissident audience overseas pre-installed before Keir Starmer went in to have a voice outside of.
I don't know. There are a lot of people like that Scottish thing happened, and there's a lot of back and forth where Americans were making fun of Brits and Europeans for not protecting this little 14 or 12-year-old girl, and yet they're they are rightfully and it's a point to be made, but rightfully they're saying it's like we see stuff over here every damn day of you people getting killed in the streets in the U.S. And are you guys doing shit about it? It's like, no, people getting their heads kicked in. I think the only one talking about it is freaking Fuentes. The only one that's actually doing that, and they have him banned everywhere. But the thing is, it doesn't matter. His word's getting out. And I think the same thing over there. There are a lot of, like, there's Keith Woods over there, Irish dude. There are a bunch of nationalists.
And when there's like a whole position on an important public subject, hole in the narrative, everybody knows what the hole is, right?
Yeah, like exactly.
If you live in a place where you can get arrested for saying the wrong thing, which we all have, right, because of the emergency pandemic planning crisis of 2020, right?
See, that's a real thing, though, Greg. That's something that normal human beings can understand. When you get arrested for silently praying to yourself, that's something no one can fathom. When the cops go, like, "Were you thinking about this?
Tyranny.
Were you thinking about this?" And then she's like, "Well, I was praying to myself. I was thinking about it. You're under arrest." That's something we can't wrap our heads around. I can't wrap my head around that.
No.
Oh, well, I mean, people forget the meaning of thought crime, right? They think thought crime is, as Orwell meant it, is the actual thought, or the actual writing of the thought, but the actual crime is evidenced by the writing.
Yeah, well, and that's
the crime is having your own story.
Yeah.
To that point, still, Sean, I can't fathom the fact that Florida is putting an Israeli flag on their license plates. I can't fathom the fact that it's illegal.
That is ridiculous.
Things in Florida. I can't fathom the fact that Texas is making it illegal for
it will, but
for cities.
It was passed last year.
I wonder what words you can slip past their censors with the specialty flag selected.
They're making it illegal for cities to boycott Israel. I mean, that's pretty freaking ridiculous, is it not?
Yeah,
it is.
It's like, oh, Muslims controlled America, right? Muslims, it's Qatar controlling America.
I do think that
goes
is
to
changing though, because have you heard Massey?
Yes.
It doesn't matter. He's only one. He's only one
that he talks about.
One, yeah.
He said that there should be no government for any foreign country that should be allowed to have lobbyists. He said there's no British lobbyists. There's no Australian lobbyists.
We do have that. They're called diplomats.
Other country has lobbyists, except for and
that's what a system of formal diplomacy is supposed to be about.
And I think all this goes down to I am's next question. How could a DAO governing body replace Congress or Parliament? You can add any form of government.
Or state.
Let's start with Lisa for this question and work our way up.
So I've been a part of DAOs. I am a part of a DAO. I'm part of DinDAO. Sometimes they work really well, but you have to have transparency, but also accountability. Without the accountability or consequence, the follow through, then it's there's no use for it. So there has to be sincere follow through, consequence. Otherwise, an open ledger, anybody can write anything they want, but then there's still bad people, bad actors doing bad things. You know what I mean? So there has to be consequence and, that kind of follow through, structure, punishment, whatever words you want to put in there, to make it actually function. Otherwise, it's just rules for the good people. That doesn't work.
So no WEF. John?
Yeah, it could. It would have to be. No, it can't. No, it can't. It can't really now. Like the whole. I've said this before. It's like we've gone too far. It can't be fixed or replaced. It has to. Well, I guess it has to be replaced, but it has to be taken down and redone. You can't say, "How can we make a DAO replace what we have?" We have to come up with a new thing to have and run it with a DAO.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Sean. In fact, that actually dovetails nicely with what I wanted to say, because you could replace Congress. You could replace Congress one-to-one with it, right?
Like
you could go in.
That's like 18,000 pages, and then put it to the community to vote.
Tomorrow, we could take the Constitution and automate it in smart contracts. A team of smart blockchain engineers with ChatGPT subscriptions or whatever, any LLM that can write the boilerplate code for you, could have this done in a week.
They'll only allow Bitcoiners.
You could do one sprint to redesign the entire government exactly as it's written to function. Of course, we don't have that government, which is really the problem, right? If you wanted to put a DAO governing body in place that replaced Congress, what would you be replacing? What part of the machine does Congress actually represent now? And I don't think anybody can look at that and go, well, those people make the rules that we all agree to follow. No, they don't. They make general guidelines for bureaucrats to implement the rules out of sight, right? So already the Constitution can't really be rewritten just by, we can't fix it by replacing Congress with a DAO, but we could do some interesting things to Congress with a DAO. For example, term limits limited in terms of official actions. Try this one on for size. Term limits in terms of number of official actions taken before you're reelected.
Imagine every law or
everybody gets 5 official actions
that would have to be put through a open AI that is just basically the Constitution, the Bill of Rights. It has to. Oh no, that's that breaks this. You can't do that. It would have to be approved and go through that before it could go to the next step. I'm so sick.
How about you, Andrew?
Listen to people that are lawyers that know all this stuff, putting a law out there that's blatantly unconstitutional, getting it passed by all these other lawyers that know it's unconstitutional.
Saying lawyers, you mean traitors?
Well, no. Lawyers don't believe in unconstitutionality anymore.
We're not
like
allowed. What 80% of Congress are lawyers.
Money,
right? So, but they
it's
go
all about
through
the
it,
money.
they do it, and then finally it goes to the court a year later, and they're like, "Oh no, this is unconstitutional, silly." Oops, we didn't know.
And you get to sit here and listen to them interpret the way that the founders would have thought about a decision that's being made by a bureaucrat that the original founders never would have allowed near power, right? It's the most absurd thing in the world to hear administrative law litigated, because when the court hears it, they use originalism to make arguments about the law while ignoring the fact that the lawmakers that they're referencing would have been perceived as interlopers and scoundrels.
That was really weird what happened to the background. I don't know if it was just my end or whatever. Anyways, Andrew, what do you have to say?
Well, I mean, a DAO is just the next level of centralized autonomous organization, right? Congress is a centralized autonomous organization. They make the regulations, like Greg was saying, and they provide the framework for people to implement it. What we need to do is the balance of power shift, where we start slowly integrating the decentralized, and eventually it's going to take some time, but people can be normalized to the act of, contracting outside of Congress. They're not going to be happy about that, but this is just how things work. When push comes to shove and they're running out of fuel, people are going to have to make a decision. They're going to take a risk and break the law, or they're going to go and move with the trend and be protected by the group.
Follow-up question.
Okay, David Friedman.
Andrew, follow-up question real quick. I noticed you didn't say that, or you didn't go with the popular but hard to see third option, where it peters out and sort of just dies, but it doesn't really matter. Is there a reason that you don't think that this dynamic is a whimper, but rather a bang?
Well, I mean, I understand that there's a shelf life to everything, and that people who are going to be using blockchain for contracting and stuff like that aren't going to go to one specific place. It's going to be it's going to eat the centralized part of Congress at every edge and every nook and cranny it can, and pick apart their whole existence.
I have to leave in 10 minutes. Can I answer out of order?
Yeah, go right ahead.
I was looking up the Robert's Rules of Order. I don't know enough of how to interject myself properly, but either way, we should learn that, and that's going to be my weapon from now on. I'm going to order that. I think it's a small book, right?
Wait, anyway, what is it?
On my bookshelf.
I've not heard this book before.
So let's see here.
I'm going to read it.
There are several things, and there are several opportunities that I think we missed. That when, like say after 9/11 was a freaking false flag, right? So when Israel attacks your buildings and they want to initiate a 20 or 30 year $1 trillion set of wars without your public knowing it, of course we missed it, right? But I was surprised, frankly. It's like, oh, we need a DHS because we're worried that they're going to try to take out our entire federal government with a Tom Clancy style raid on Congress, right? It's like, oh, we could have been so lucky.
Yep.
Right? It's like, oh, you take out some New York and you didn't even get any of the good executives. I mean, come on, at least give us something out of this false flag.
There was also a 100% chance that the money that paid for the films that popularized those ideas was probably also the CIA.
Yeah,
probably.
It's all, and I'm not saying it was only Israel. I'm not saying it was only Mossad, right? But
no,
anyway,
it's the blob.
It was all of them. But one way or another, I was really kind of surprised that we didn't say, hey, shouldn't we have a decent? Why the hell, number one, do we have our entire Congress in one city? This isn't the 19th century, right? They should be voting from their own districts, which you imagine the effect. It'd be decentralized. You wouldn't have to worry about it being taken out. I know maybe that is attractive, but either way,
there would be no one place to build a lot of big buildings.
The lobbying, you wouldn't be able to go to DC and go to and basically lobby everybody in one cocktail party and pay them under the same table. You would have to go to every damn table in every damn state, every damn district to get to them. and
How
the
would they
people
have
would
the big
then
hot
be there.
dog
I mean,
party?
unless you used Monero and
That's what I'm saying. That like that's a big part of it. And
or Xano. You could automate with Xano.
Go ahead, William.
Definitely the point. It will have to. You know, we are too far along. It will have to be replaced. But you can at least, you know, think about the ways, you know, and you know, a proper representative republic doesn't have to be a, you know, where I elect someone who makes the decisions. It can be, I can't remember the name of it, but there was a protocol that the Europeans developed, libertarians, I think, where it was so that you would essentially pick for any given subject or any given vote, you would pick your effective representative and you would proxy your vote through them because, hey, this person knows everything about health. So anything related to health, I want them to vote in my stead. And anybody, and you know, and if I particularly am expert on something, I can vote direct. And
well,
like
and
a rank
can you comment on how much of the configuration space for potential governance mechanisms has actually been explored, and how much of a fucking blue sky there is there?
Well, and on
Like,
top of that,
crazy
the behavior, and I would say, I would suggest study what we've done on Den, because you have a closed system where the behavior and the economics are entirely inside of there. So if you want to attack it economically, you still have to do the behavioral things. And it's a beautiful thing because it effectively hones in any bad actor that they have to do the good behaviors and they have to behave economically. And that's the way any real system should be. And you could do that in a real world republic if you wanted to.
Yeah.
And if you weren't so stupid, but there's so little hope because also they're all lawyers and they don't understand any of this tech. That's why the Roman Storm case. That's why the SEC went after utility token. That's
why I think you should have to have a computer science degree before you're allowed entry to law school.
It's not bad. Or an IQ test, maybe. Sorry.
No, the IQ. There are way too many smart people who do nothing but play word games with it.
I'm about to play judge now.
Can't use an IQ test.
Go ahead, William.
I'm going to need to go too, and I'd like to answer this question. It's my own question. First, I'd like to say that I love my government, and I can prove it. Andrew, you're wrong. We don't need Congress to move towards a decentralized system. It's perfect that it is centralized. It's good. And Joe, you too are wrong. That they shouldn't vote from their districts. They need to be there amongst themselves. These are the 435 most important people in our country, and they should be huddled together in a safe place, in a safe location like DC, where they can conspire. I mean, can create good legislation for all of us peeps, and really that's what it boils down to. As a matter of fact, we probably need even more bureaucracy and more three-letter agencies that are up into our business to make sure we're doing the right thing and treating each other fairly and justly.
I will
the laws are held
wrong.
accountable.
I will admit that I was wrong, and I would up it. Well, I would raise it to. I think we need more 4-letter agencies.
Tyranny for all.
On that, I need to go.
That's a good one.
I got to step away too. I'll be back later.
Nice.
All right.
Goodness.
Oh, and now there was fun.
All right.
So speaking. Man.
So
this one's from
interesting question for you guys. Then on this one, I want to get a rep here. I want to get your impressions. Okay, so what could you do to make have you ever played a Nomic game where you just take turns coming up with rules every round and every person gets to make a new rule for the game every
like
round?
D&D.
Sort of like D&D, but imagine you're playing Risk, and then after everybody gets around the board once, you roll the dice, and whoever rolls the highest gets to make a new law that changes the game, right? So eventually the game becomes indistinguishable as Monopoly, right? Someone will be like, now the rule is the only way that you can get hotels isn't by mortgages, it's by conquering territory in a Risk game that we're starting over here. New rule, right? So with that weird random segue, think about designing governance systems where you get to make a rule about how government gets run that's never been tried before. And we implement this with a DAO. The only requirement is it has to still be something that resembles crowd governance, akin to what the founders gave their best shot when they took a crack at it centuries ago. That's the game. Who wants to play?
That'd be an
Not
interesting
me.
proposition.
That would be.
But see, this is where we get in trouble with the too many laws, thinking that laws are what solve things. We need less, not more. You know what
So
I
your
mean?
system would be like a really law minimizing system, where
Yeah.
maybe every official act immediately sunset upon execution and had to be reauthorized every 30 days or something, where most laws sort of attrition out because of how much entropy you stack.
I don't know
or
about
something
it.
like that.
Yeah, I don't know that the timing is what solves it either. But I think it goes back to like the Constitution, and more of like, I know people freak out when I say, or when anyone says the word sovereignty, but you know, common law, common sense kind of thing. You know, do not kill, do not steal. And then the consequences have to be there, though. I'm telling you, like, if we don't hold people accountable, I mean, we're seeing it over and over.
It's already kind of too late, isn't it?
It's not too late.
Well, I mean, think about this. Does it matter that there's a felon running our country right now? Because when he went in, he was, according to the label system that we use to technically apply criminal approbation to people, right? That should technically not have ever happened, because now we think felon and we think, oh, that can be president too, right? We have to think what kind of felon now.
Yeah.
Right. So you're right. The consequences really do matter, especially not with just who we punish, but how we punish and who we wield it against.
I don't know, man. I'm coming around to Andrew Wilson's side on things. I think everything is forced.
Context for the.
You know, I don't think anyone has any rights. There are no, unless you're. I mean, you could say they're God given, but then you have to believe in God. So, and there, you don't have a right. You don't have anything you can do. If I can take it away, you don't have it. So there is only strength. There is only force.
Just echo somewhere.
I agree.
Hey, it's me. I'm my headphone. It's my fault.
Oh, okay.
Well, we'll move on to the question then. This one, I think the anonymous might actually be William. I'm not gonna lie. William, this is you. I'm calling it out. Can the panel describe the umbrella promise to the audience? How might it work to reduce the money required to run for office, elevate the voice of the constituents, and reduce the power and influence of lobbyists? This sounds like William.
Yeah.
Simply beautiful idea. And it is his idea.
Yeah.
Him and Lisa have done like a couple shows on it. She knows.
Yeah. Do you want to take a crack, Lisa?
It's a great idea. It talks about just like the umbrella, that the money that the lobbyist would typically put in the Congress people's pocket has to go to the community, and so then the Congress or representative has to act on behalf of the community, and then it functions, and those funds support and benefit the community. And if they don't, then they don't get their little pocket change, and so it holds them accountable. And you see the benefit go to the community and the action community. I mean, I would go one step further, that I don't know that we need that mediator or that congressperson anymore. We have the technology can replace that person.
Yeah. Well, and what I think is really clever about the umbrella promise, though, or actually, Sean, do you want to go? Do you have a thought on this?
I had a thought that was insane. Imagine a system on chain where lobbyists exist and they get to pitch their ideas and why they think things should be the way they should, instead of to the congressperson, to the people, and they have to pay. So they put, $100,000 in there, whatever 2 million, whatever they were.
Didn't this happen in 2018 once?
Hold on. So then they pitch it to the people, and then people are like, no, I don't like it. And then everyone that we've picked that votes against it, they get the money. Or I do like that. We want that. And everybody that votes for it, they get the money, and the people decide. And it gets. Can you imagine that?
So like a prediction market weighted pitch fund.
They're paying.
That's cool.
They're paying the money that they would have paid illegally,
right?
For the time to talk. Basically, paying for ads to go directly to the people, and then we're like taking that money and giving it to the people to pay to. That way, they still get rich. They still get rich. They still make tons of money, and it's still a little shady, but they just do what we say.
It's kind of important if you're designing practical systems to change the system we're working from, right? You have to have sort of troughs for corruption to flow into that aren't as harmful as previous forms of corruption. If you want them to adopt, like ideally, you would make it more lucrative and easier to be corrupt in a less damaging way.
Yeah, it's like crypto.
In your iterative design.
Blockchain, you're making it, you're incentivizing good behavior and doing what people want. Versus doing what.
So it would be sort of like the good behavior incentivization form of harm reduction.
Right? Well, and those people
switch to smokeless tobacco.
Only if
smokeless democracy or whatever.
Only if those people that said yes or took the funds would have to hold that entity or that idea accountable for, if they went outside of their plan or what was presented, then they would have to be able to shut it down, rein it in, turn it around.
It's an important point.
Yeah, or give up the fund to correct whatever wrongdoing.
Well, one of the ways
I think the biggest thing we have to change, though, about politics is that there has to be insane penalties. Like, I think above county level, you got to have death.
Yeah, and
Sean, that dovetails nicely with we don't even have to do that, right? If we have perfect enforcement on this, then the punishments can be light to be effective, right? So as long as we surveil our government carefully, really pin them down like butterflies, then the infractions can be expulsion from office, never to be reelected, right? You're just out.
Not like currently that we have public funds that taxpayers.
The umbrella promise was like applying
people getting caught raping people.
Yeah, I'm just on the raping threw me off. I wasn't expecting to hear that word.
How many times have I heard of that?
Yeah, no, I mean, but I was just going to say, like, if we wanted to use the umbrella promise, like DAOs use sort of the primitives of DeFi to govern, right? Then we'd have a situation where slashers would be on a politician's stake all the time, monitoring to see if they deviated from the umbrella promises that they made. That if they weren't, then somebody could make a killing by claiming a bounty on a promise broken. And it would hurt the politician and fund a community of people who were constantly watching them to try to make a killing on them breaking a promise. That was the cool thing about it to me.
Well, when we were talking about it earlier,
to watch them and hold them accountable, essentially.
We was talking about Japan earlier and how their government kind of operates. They're more in a communal fashion, and you compare it to the United States government, which is all about, basically narcissism and success. And it's really about how you frame the government that you want to be the most effective and what targets that you want that government. And one big federal government is not going to be a solution to everybody's problems. You need, like we talked about before, a more decentralized government, competing governance. People go to live where they think the government best serves them. It fits their bias.
Yeah.
So that's what I think of when I hear about this.
We are changing the Japanese slowly, though. So we're getting to them. Oh, yeah, Japan's also a really
weird, getting to us,
really weird case.
Yeah, right.
So we might be doing yield curve control before they start doing.
There's so many things about their government that is like communist. There's so many, but it works, and it's not that really oppressive. It's a very odd place.
It's their government is more like what's it called? I'm sorry. a parole. They're like, it's more akin to parole than anything else, from my point of view. Is it?
I mean, if
You're always looking over your shoulder.
You get arrested, you're guilty till proven innocent. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you what's the other thing? I forget. I was about to, but it's oh yeah, the state buys stocks in the stock market to own private companies to prop them up. There's so many just contradictory, weird things about it, but it works. So okay,
sort of. It does sort of work. Although it is interesting that like their central bank policies have always been kind of unusual, right? Like if you want to talk about certain kinds of stupid Keynesian strategies to manage the monetary base, look at Japan for some of the more creative attempts.
Well,
what are this one's forever. From William? Oh, go ahead.
No, I was saying their monetary policies won't last forever. I mean, we just talked about the yield curve, and now it's definitely going down the tubes.
And we're seeing it. We're seeing it now in real time. So this one also comes from William. What challenges might arise when implementing blockchain for cross-border governance coordination? Speaking of monetary.
Allegedly comes from William.
Allegedly. You know what? You're starting, Andrew.
Okay, what challenge? Just a second. Let me zoom in.
What challenges might arise when implementing blockchain for cross-border governance coordination, like treaties?
Well, I mean, it depends on how compatible the governing bodies are. Like, you're not going to have a very compatible style of governing body between Russia and Canada versus United States and Canada. So that's one challenge. And another thing is if you've got people doing cross-border payments as it is through like just traditional methods, like go to Walmart and stuff like that and do it, you're going to have a better time than if you're just trying to set that up for the first time. But at the same time, you're also going to run into challenges because there's going to be new things that you're not adjusted for. So I don't know. Right. It's just my thoughts.
Yeah. I think the biggest problem is going to be the fact that the treaties are typically unbinding in any meaningful way, right? And the way that this technology makes the most sense is to automate the bindingness of things, right? So if you wished to have a treaty organization figure out a way for this system to work, you wouldn't be able to design it with a phase-in plan for different members, right? That would involve constantly writing new bespoke smart contracts per trading partner. It would be, and in the most literal sense that blockchain engineers would use this term, retarded, right? You would be doing it the dumb way, because you would just basically be wasting all of the efficiency and replicating the inefficiencies of the old system. You kind of need a new way to think about it, and to make a permanent treaty for the first time in a field of nations that are used to making provisional treaties that aren't binding. It's going to be a tough freaking road to hoe.
That's what I was about to say, is that there's treaties that have been in place that just nobody picked up on. So, but sorry about that.
I was originally going to say it's not, and all of y'all said it's not, but you said it with a lot of words, because they already had. It's not going to have any new problems. It depends on what government is involved, what administration, whatever. I mean, the entire system of government in a lot of countries can change, not just the leader. But it could change certain things if you really utilized blockchain, and like Greg brought up smart contracts. If we have a treaty, a trade treaty or something like that, and if there's a smart but if those governments would stake into it, like for the next 5 years, we're going to put $5 billion into this, And if somebody breaks it by smart contract, the other side gets that money. That's been, instead of going through the courts and going through, the media and, oh, you did this, oh, but you did that, and this and that. It would be just code and simple. That would actually alleviate some stuff. That would keep people in check. Going from the
and all the ship. The other thing to remember, dude, is all the shippers are going to be going on chain with logistics to coordinate, having knowledge they can share and marshal against trade barriers, right? The idea of doing like trade deals for people is literally to try to clear tariffs as efficiently as possible for specific customers.
Like, imagine if we had an on-chain treaty with Mexico and they put up like 5% of their silver ore that's in the ground. They would do certain things to stop drugs, and then we prove that things are getting through the border and they've broke the treaty. They would be a lot more.
Or what if they promise to stop dumping cheap secondary materials into a market like the United States, or stop dumping a corner on the manufacturer of cheap tires, right? Cheap Mexican tires are flooding the country, and the reason they're flooding the country is because a trade lawyer figured out how to make it look like these tires manufactured in Mexico are in fact U.S. origin, right?
See, if regular folks
you can figure out how to do that shit.
That blockchain and smart contracts could hold governments accountable. I mean, imagine if China signs the Paris Accord, it's just bullshit.
Right.
But
what if the treaty
self-enforced? That signed that had to put up something, and China's like, hey, we're going to lower our pollution by 5% in the next 5 years, or else, we're going to give up, $100 billion, or we're going to give
our stake is slashed.
That's something that could literally happen with smart contracts and blockchain. And when people realize that and understand that, that's when I think we'll finally get blockchain in government.
Yeah.
That's the accountability part. You're absolutely right, Sean. That's what we're missing in so many things across government and contracts in general. But that changes not only government and treaties and all of this, but it changes the way our whole judicial system works as well. I mean, think about all these contracts, even in civil cases as well, to have that kind of accountability and justice that could happen. That just changes everything. So great point.
True.
Great point.
Are we ready?
I believe so.
All right. I like this. I'm not answering any questions. I'm just the host, everybody.
I just noticed that. I was like, Zach, you're not giving your thoughts on
should I give my thoughts? I don't really.
Yes.
I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. What challenges might arise when implementing blockchain for cross-border governance? I'm going to piggyback off of what Sean said, because I think he said something really interesting on how the governments are vary. They're very different. So like what applies governmentally when it comes to like Canada or even China is much different from the United States and Russia. Like Russia, here in Russia and the United States, we're more oligarchical, lobbyist oriented if you're talking about the United States, but we're more oligarchical with reverence towards a hint of the market, but in a controlled setting. Whereas if you go towards like China, it's all goes through the state. So how can we counteract that when you have different various degrees of one country that has their own belief system and how they govern, and somebody like China? So that's the challenge, is trying to figure out the balance. So
right. Well, China's an order society.
It's like a food review. Very oligarchical with a hint of market. Just a hint.
With a hint. It's just a hint. Bloody hell, that sucks. Gordon Ramsay. So Another one from William, and these are the last two. I'm gonna hide that, everybody. How could blockchain streamline international and distribution for a world governing body? Who wants to start?
Aid distribution. We wouldn't have the problem with food, the Gaza stuff. I watched this like right before we started. Just popped up on my feed, little TikTok video someone shared, and it's just I thought it was fake. I thought it was like a joke because this dude, I don't know who he is. He's not like a big YouTuber or TikToker. I've never seen him. He's like, we're about to go into Gaza. We're crossing the line, and I'm like, no, you're not. What is, I thought he was going to start dancing, or I was watching it, and he's like, Frank can't get his helmet on. And then he's like, we're with the army. And then all of a sudden they're actually they're with the army, the Israeli army going into Gaza. He's like, they say there's no food. Look at all this food. And it was just tons and tons and miles of fenced in food. He's like, look at this garbanzo beans. And I was like, yeah, but that could be sitting in Israel. It's like, well, you don't know where it is. This is it's so propagandish.
Right.
It was
could
silly.
be stock footage. It couldn't even.
It was
could not even be this year for that matter.
It was funny the way it was like I'm like, I can tell this is propaganda. It's not even trying. And I think when we use blockchain, that's one of that was one of the first adopters was supply chain. And if you just use it for supply chain, you're going to know where it goes. You're going to know who shaves off the top, but who cares when it gets down to like this? I mean, he's there. The guy was like, they say there's level 5 starving. No one's starving. Everybody's got food. And I'm like, there's no people eating the food. You're not showing people eating the food. You're just showing food. And he's like, that's all lies. No one's starving. Look at all this food. And they say there's no fuel. Look over there at the gas truck. They got gas. They got fuel. They got everything. And I think if it was just the basic stuff that there's already, Louis Vuitton and all those, they all use blockchain. Any way that they can keep from losing money, those corporations have grabbed onto blockchain and use it fully already. They have for years. So just by putting aid on the blockchain, you can have the supply chain and know exactly where it is, know exactly who messed with it, and know where it is now. You would know if the food is here or if it's actually there, if the aid has gotten through or if it's being held in a warehouse. So once again, just the transparency of blockchain.
For sure.
You could use QR codes to do like a unique identifier for every wallet or whatever. It shows we're eating, and this is actually in the location like Sean was saying. And
what if
that way you can
use the
count the population as well?
That's actually
an interesting thought.
That's actually what we used. So I ran the largest nonprofit volunteer effort in the state of Oklahoma for 13 years, and we supplied Christmas gifts to kids in foster care. And we used, it wasn't on blockchain, it was a ledger system, and we were using QR codes, and eventually we used QR cards. Initially it was a spreadsheet and kids' names, and but we had a system and to track by county, child, caseworker, office. So we had it broken down in different, because when you're, some years we got up to, I think the largest year we had over 11,600 children to provide for. And so tracking it through the system. So then we take each individual child's wish list, and distribute that out into the community to churches, fire departments, businesses, all of this, and then to get it back to the warehouse and then sort them in the warehouse and then get them all lined up to which DHS office or county it was going to go to, then which DHS office within that county. And then make sure that item or that gift set would actually reach the child. And so we had like a system where you could track that all the way from the child making the wish request to being fulfilled to getting back to the warehouse and out and delivered. So just like the aid thing. And it was really a pretty amazing thing logistically once we got it all figured out. But we did that for 13 years. And the accountability that it had, it created stories, because then people would know, the child's name, a little bit about it. And it changed Oklahoma. We ended up having a tremendous recruiting effort from it, because it made, without giving up the children's confidentiality or the case or whatever, it made the children real. And so more families started fostering and adopting and getting involved in that, because it wasn't just like giving $50 or it was that peer-to-peer kind of experience for people giving that aid. And that's what I saw a reel the other day, that someone found old newspapers from 15 years and up to 30 years before Hitler ever was in power. And there was this propaganda talking about 6 million Jews starving to death, 6 million Jews starving to death. And this was literally like 15 to 30 years before Hitler ever was in power. And so do we really know, was it a propaganda effort to get funds sent to the Belgians, or did it ever really happen? We would know if we had blockchain following those
right. And all we have right now is retail history as it's been packaged and sold by by state-funded NGOs to us.
Right. And so
which that would really help. But there's also kind of maybe another interesting question to ask here. Would we really need as much aid if the world was on chain, right? Because right now a big problem with like Gaza, for example, has banks that are only in Gaza and has infrastructure that is only in Gaza.
Well, Greg, you brought it up that a lot of times you have to bake in the corruption, and you wouldn't have to bake in as much corruption if it was on chain.
But consider this. Like, what would happen if your bank if a bank building down the street blew up, but all your wealth was already stored on chain, right? You can flee a disaster area with 12 words tattooed in an order only you remember them being tattooed in on your body. And you've got your bank account with you, right? So why even leave? Why not have, for instance, friendly societies that have pre-pooled capital that show up in disaster areas with the aid already sort of stocked and on site across their fulfillment centers based on when the risk pool needs to be activated? You have everybody pay in a little bit to be part of this society. You'd have the aid ready, and they would be markets too, right? Because the people who you'd be helping would have assets on chain they could be provably able to pay with. We wouldn't need the world to shut down if the physical infrastructure blew up in a truly decentralized future.
I think it's also important to make the point that blockchain does not stop corruption, but it makes it harder to get away with. And like you could have a truck, which we're following all the aid. And you would have, and all this technology is already in place. They just needs the data input. So if a warlord wants to take 1,000 pounds of food off that truck, he's got to put 1,000 pounds of rocks on it. Right. But the action of the truck getting 1,000 pounds lighter and then getting back up to that 1,000 pounds is going to happen. So then when it gets to the destination and people say, "Hey, half this truck is filled with rocks," then because of blockchain, you're able to say, why were the weight changes here, and here? Right. And they're like, well, no, there's no rocks. Well, then explain why this happened. So that's something that it just makes it harder.
Well, and who you ask is identified by their private key signature. So if you signed the transaction that said this truck passed its way in without anything fishy, then you were identified and you're going to get tracked down and talked to, and you can't say I wasn't there.
Like a weight, what do they call them? Yeah, a weight exit for semis.
Right. It also strips away the anonymity that the institution usually provides. Like, it's not some DOT official. Yeah. It's DOT official identified here on chain with this key.
And a good analogy for what Greg was talking about is imagine how much cheaper everything would be at Walmart if they had zero shoplifting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, if you cut that down so much, so we would need so
or like
much less
up
aid.
the supply chain pilfering, for example. How much shit gets siphoned off by people shipping it out of the third world countries where they manufacture it?
Yeah, and like you said, so much corruption is just baked in. Hey, if we need 100 pounds of food to get to this location, we have to send 1,200 pounds of food because 1,100 pounds of food is going to get taken along the way.
Right.
You know,
right.
that's like
imagine.
Right. We need to send this diversionary payment of dollar aid over here so the warlords are distracted when we do it.
Imagine a world where we have global cooperation rather than globalization.
I mean, you have you have a Black Swan event, right? And then there's a struggle session afterwards. How can you know what really happened?
I'm starting to think that yesterday's event up in Minneapolis might have been that Black Swan event.
Sure.
Potentially.
Yeah, especially with the Second Amendment issue, because I think both sides are on board at this point.
I still think a significant and underaccounted for portion of the increase in youth violence and suicide has so much to do with how much surveillance we put them under in school.
Yes, I agree. I
mean, imagine in the 90s getting into the car and your parents had a magic brick in their pocket that told you A, exactly what your homework is tonight, B, exactly what you got on that test today, C, exactly the teacher's appraisal of your attitude, effort, and demeanor. And before you even receive the grade tomorrow, you're getting the third degree from your mom in the car after school. That is the modern world. Right. And AI is making it worse. Like they're going to probably have AI monitoring people's demeanor in their wearables.
Already
kids are going to be required to wear them when they're in school, you know?
Don't forget
so that you're going to be able to get real-time monitoring on people. So they're just going to be constantly fucking hawked. Of course.
That's a funny story. That's a funny story that you say that. I mean, it's not like digital
like that.
Yeah. It has nothing to do with like obviously AI or digital surveillance in schools. But back when I was a sophomore in high school, I had just come out of Catholic high school. I had to go back to public because my parents didn't want to drive without a carpool. And I entered in, and they decided as I'm coming in to start using ID badges. I kid you not, I got so many detentions having it like waving on like tucked in my pocket and letting it sway without wearing it. One time I actually ended up getting suspended. Funny thing is
not having an ID badge on you.
Yeah.
Like in the place they told you.
Exactly. Yes.
No, we want to place it awkwardly high on your shirt so it feels uncomfortable, makes you look silly.
Exactly.
Right? I used to get arrested because I didn't have an ID because I was too young. But the police were like, "Where's your ID?" It's like, "I don't have one. I'm 12." They're like, "No, you're not." I'm like, "No, I'm 12. I don't have ID yet." They're like, "You have a beard, dude. Where's your ID? Who are you?" I'm like, "I don't have ID. I'm only 12. Leave me alone. Like, come with us."
I need an adult.
Yeah.
Yeah, for real, you did.
Yeah. And then I get like in trouble when my like mom or my stepdad would come to the police station. And they would be all, "Well, we're sorry, kid."
And there were 4.
And they were like,
right.
"I can't believe you. You must have been doing something to make the police look at you." I was like, "No, I was just playing on the playground." Yeah.
I mean, back when I was in middle school, was it 2004, something like that? They were making the woman, they couldn't have regular purses or whatever. They had to use the little clear see-through pintle bags. And there was all this outrage, you know, personal matters and stuff like that. And like, and it's only gotten worse since then.
So, yeah.
You get to see their tampon tubes. Wonderful.
Oh, right.
Wonderful.
And you can guarantee the security guards never make any awkward comments about that sort of thing or do anything inappropriate. That probably never happens because the sort of people who are security guards at public schools tend to be of the highest caliber and the highest achievement.
I'm old. We had guns at school.
That's why I was an armed guard at a private medical college.
Yeah. I'm somewhat old. We had knives in school. No guns, but we did have knives. We were
We had
very
guns, but in the parking lot, like
we literally just we
What,
had kids in the car with gun racks on the back of their trucks.
Yeah.
You know, and teachers too.
Mhm.
Everybody was safe.
Yeah.
I think we're pretty much talking about it right now, but here's the final question I'll read from William, of course. What role could decentralized identity systems play in global governance using blockchain? And is a blockchain passport feasible? And I think we're pretty much touching base on it right now.
Yeah, of course
so
it
I
is.
figured, yeah,
That's one of the best things for blockchain,
Oh.
just like supply chain is identification.
What if we did
Because,
another?
like, you could also one of the greatest things about blockchain ID is that if I go through whatever, I go to a website and I want to look at weird porn, all they need to know is that I'm 21. That's it, and that I'm from what country. So I don't have to give them any more of that
Argentina.
information. They can get just that information. I can make it so they can just see that. When you have a passport, like, you could just make it come up, not a criminal, from the United States, name, that's it, and birthday, whatever information they need. Whereas now they can get all your information.
Right.
They don't need my driver's license number. They don't need my full address. They don't, there's so many things that you don't need.
Yeah.
You don't need to know my birth date. You just need to know
that you just need to know what it is in some cases if you have to pass an age check for a law.
Yeah. And one of the cool things about blockchain is that an encryption is that you can choose what they see. You can choose what to allow.
Without even seeing the age, you can hand them a piece of information that doesn't reveal the age, that nonetheless reveals whether or not you pass the age check.
Is he over 21? Yes. Yeah.
Exactly. To me, the thing about blockchain passports and ID is that the real decentralized identity is called reputation. And to take the idea of identity and put it on the internet as a place that it belongs, you're making an assumption. You're saying that there are things that can pass in the information space that justify someone knocking on your door with a gun and taking you to a cage. Mm-hmm. That's what you're saying when you say information needs this to transit, right? So you're going to a country because you're going to hang out with some people or whatever. Part of the control apparatus could be in the identifying of you, right? The fact that it would be on chain would mean it would work everywhere the same way. Really easy to access, really easy to write general rules about that the framework will already bring to the table, right? It's potentially quite dangerous to have identity at all on chain. Because identity is just a workaround form of reputation that can't self-enforce, right? It was always there because you couldn't just have reputation because some people would cheat, and then you would need verifiers to make sure people weren't cheating, right? And then criminal penalties for lies. But if you don't need that, which Silk Road proved you don't need that, then you can just have reputation and we don't have to worry about identity at all. We really ought to try to keep things that pass in the information space, in my opinion, away from legibility to men with guns, if we want to have a free internet and a better future.
We need Obama. I'm just kidding.
Well, I think we've all seen Of Mice and Men, right? They survived without having ID cards when they went to work and lived their daily lives. I think we could survive without an ID card every 5 seconds.
What we need is a plan. We need a plan. I don't know what that plan is.
Did they calligraphy IDs for everybody in the 1760s? I don't think so. If the greatest country in the world is founded without IDs, why would we need them now?
Cursive is the new calligraphy.
Personally, I think we need to just go to Tahiti and grow mangoes. Start a mango farm. That's the plan.
Well, I like Greg's thought about the reputation, because actually that it doesn't matter what somebody's identity is if you don't know their reputation. No one's safe if you don't know somebody's reputation.
That's why we have a credit score.
Right, but if you can prove with the chain that you are the reputation that you say you represent, like I am the person authorized to speak for this reputed account, right? Because of all the things that I've proven that I've done with my deeds instead of my words, because it's on chain and you can see, right? Anybody who wants to cheat then with the reputation that they value has to be prepared to burn it, to open a new wallet and start from scratch.
Right. So then there's
is a
that thing
powerful incentive to be a good guy about how you have a reputation.
Like Sean was talking earlier about with the treaties using blockchain, there would be something at stake that they would
lose. If you screw up your reputation, everyone's going to know this account is an asshole for the rest of eternity.
Right.
So you either have to stop using it or forever carry the brand. And if you stop using it, you start from fucking scratch, right?
And
I think that's a fair punishment. I think that's in a lot of ways harder than subjecting people to, congressional hearings and shit, or sending them to jail. Starting fresh with nothing but you fucked up last time to blame would be a great punishment for information crimes, I think. I don't think we need to go any further than that. I don't think we need gunmen at all. I think that's good enough.
We already have so much of this data that just needs to be put on chain. I've been ripped off so many times from Facebook and Instagram. Something pops up and I'm like, that's a scam. But man, that's a good deal. All right, I'm gonna get it. And it's something that costs like $500, but it's like $40. And I'm like, it's just too good of a deal to not risk.
It's a lottery ticket, right?
It doesn't happen.
This is either going to be a good bootleg or I'm not getting anything.
And then I go to, and I'm like, I'll use PayPal because they got to give me the money back. And then PayPal was like, no, we're not going to get the money back, dude. They have like they sent you something, here's the tracking. And I had to go look and I'm like, yeah, but I bought, a tire and what they sent me only weighs 1.5 ounces.
Right.
And they're like,
fuck.
All right, we'll give you a refund. So that's
what they do too. They actually send small parcels through the cheapest possible mailing system, through the most circuitous route they can, and send you tracking on it, so that they have more time to get past the PayPal barrier. That was the scam of the early 2000s, right?
Yeah.
Sell you something unbelievably cheap that you normally couldn't afford on eBay. It ships from China. It arrives in 3 months. And when it gets there, it's an envelope with a torn piece of paper in it.
I was like, I was like, anyone that buys this is stupid. You can't buy a gun on Facebook from China. Come on. Besides, this gun costs like $500.
You can go on a thing called Silk Road in 2014 and get methamphetamine in the mail. That worked.
I had to, guys. I had to bring that one up.
It's all right.
So. What besides what?
No, this is really
besides this.
We can't leave the people.
Besides that, what's on the current events today? Obviously, the girl with the axe and the knife.
The girl with the axe and the knife. A friend of mine is a cop in London. He's a super cop. He's a super cop. Like, he's famous. He's for being a badass cop. He's in charge of like all the canine units, and he's done like. He ran into this burning building, saved like 11 kids. It was like an orphanage. I'm not joking. Like the Queen's giving him, the awards. So he's like super, super. And he posted this thing, and I laughed. It was a joke. It's like, we got a lot of really bad weapons off the street. And it was like a rusty kitchen knife and, a couple like small pocket knife. And there was like 5 cops standing around a table, like we would have for like automatic weapons and 1 million pounds of cocaine. And they're standing.
I knew it. Wusthof, right? Like,
and I was like, "Are you?" I was like, "Really?
You're going away for a long time,
like,
pal.
You got these dangerous weapons."
Hardware.
And I had this other friend. He lives in Liverpool, and he was like, "Oh man,
squad.
A bunch of drug dealers moved in down the hall from me. They're loud." I said, I don't feel safe here with my girlfriend. I got to go down to the shops and get a couple hammers. And I was like, why are you going to put in like a new door?
Yeah, because hammers are blunt weapons, right?
He's like, no. I want a hammer by the bed in my nightstand. And
do you remember that scene in Braveheart, guys? Where William Wallace comes back and he's like, well, what is this? He ends in this big fucking rock. It's like, so you don't train with real weapons? Oh, the English don't allow us those. We have to use rocks. You know, like.
But I was like, dude,
it's the
are you
same
serious?
fucking thing happening to
You're
the
gonna
same
go buy,
basic
that's like
set of people.
your mentality is to, I'm going to go buy a
Where's
hammer
William Wallace Part 2
at the hardware store, and that's
Pretty
my
much.
defense to defend my family against drug dealers down the hall. I'm like, Dad, I couldn't live that way, man. I would be scared.
Someone needs to make a
shitless.
modern day remake of Braveheart set in modern times, like that Romeo and Juliet retold for the 1990s.
Oh yeah.
They just set it in current day England, and just use maybe like stock footage plus AI to patch it together like Kung Pao Into the Fist style. I bet somebody could pull it off.
Like, I grew up in Europe, and it was not like I played with real medieval weapons. I had a Morning Star, I had a mace, flail, I had a couple swords.
I have a cavalry saber, like with full tank.
Yeah, I'm talking, but I was in Europe
in my house.
You know what I mean?
Me and my buddy.
It was like, but now that would be against the law. I couldn't have
me and my friend. His name was Kyle. Andrew knows him. We would sword fight all the time. Like we almost uninstalled ourselves many times.
I do not want to say that my kids would sword fight all the time.
I feel like we need to clarify that we were talking about the actual like bladed sword fighting, not the thing that some weirdos do over the toilet together.
Gross.
Boys.
Gross.
Anyway.
Mind, man. There are two swords. There's two swords and there's two machetes.
Sorry, not often are you given a double entendre that is also a blade.
Yes.
But these are like my grandkids came over, and they like were at my room, and they're like, "Are those real swords?" Like, I have like so many guns. Look behind me, you know what I mean? But they were blown away that I have these katanas set up in my room. Like, yeah,
which is funny because a sword is just a metal stick that you sharpen, really. Like,
you don't have, and
anything can be a real sword if it starts off as a chunk of metal and then you sharpen it.
They're like, no, I swear I'd love to have that sword. Can I see it? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I bought your dad hundreds of swords. So why you don't have a sword?
Sticks in here.
I'm like, they had like Conan's sword, Frodo's sword, just famous swords, and buy him swords. And
did they have Peter's sword?
And then my son's like, we're allowed to kids have swords, can't touch swords, put the swords back here, touch granddad's swords. Oh God, it's a sword. But yeah.
Okay, here's a good question for the peanut gallery. Most favorite famous sword. Which one's the best famous sword from fiction or reality? Which one tops them all?
Conan's.
Right. Ragnarok, Final Fantasy VI.
Yeah, that's.
I think Trump's sword.
The what's it called? The Sword of the East that Aragorn had. I forget its name.
It's pretty bland, man.
Oh yeah, that was
pretty powerful.
It was,
though.
Charlemagne's is all right.
No, that was the thing he gave Frodo.
No,
it was Anduril, the Flame of the West.
What was the sword?
That's right, Flame of the West. Yeah. What did I say?
It was remade from the shards of Narsil, which is the name it had before it got broken.
What was the sword that was given to Trump, and they did the dance, and the women whipped their hair around and all that, and they did and Trump was given that sword.
Oh yeah.
And they did all that dance.
Wasn't it? No, it was a chainsaw, wasn't it?
No,
that was a chainsaw.
Sword. And they did the sword dance.
Away.
Wait, Melee gave him a chainsaw though at one point, didn't he?
Oh,
no, he gave Elon a chainsaw. That was a different thing altogether. The future is incomprehensible to the past, right? Like the world we talk about now is so fucking insane that even 10 years ago, if you played it back to people, they'd think we were talking about some kind of like weird video game.
Well, because the last 10 years basically has been a movie.
Yeah, the world is gamifying.
Yes.
Like in all the wrong ways. It's funny.
Yeah.
My favorite, I would go with Damocles, by the way. That would be the sword I would pick.
Like I said before, I don't know much about swords, so.
We lost Sean.
I would think you would know about swords, Andrew.
No, just cursory information.
He's more of a battle axe kind of guy.
There's Japanese swords. I would think you'd
katanas and stuff like that.
Sword.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not very much of a collector and that sort of thing. So
I always wanted one of those. So Kill Bill had some awesome weapons in it, right? But slightly deviating from sword, the one I really wanted was that ball and chain weapon with the
I know what you're talking about.
That came out of it from what's her face, the bodyguard, Go or whatever her name was.
I'm not seen Kill Bill myself.
It's called a meteor hammer. It's my medieval weaponry obsession. If I ever learn to fight with an actual thing that you swing around, it'll be one of those.
I haven't seen it either.
I would prefer to have the Ark of the Covenant.
Yeah.
Unleash it.
Trump's got one of those too.
One of the elite swords from Halo would be pretty cool too.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool. I know that one.
That would be awesome. Or the Needler. I would always have the Needler with the elite sword in hand.
Well, you gotta imagine like how light that freaking thing is. It would be way more ergonomic than a lightsaber too. So you've got an energy sword that you can click on, that's already in a fist grip to turn on.
Mm-hmm.
It actually makes sense, and it would be so light. It would just be the most fun thing on earth.
I would like to
cut mailboxes off the hinges with.
My favorite thing was when you depleted it, you could still use it. So I would just start beating people with a stick.
Yeah. Well, I liked how if you could trigger a lunge with a rocket launch change, you could actually launch yourself way into the air. It was pretty awesome.
If I had to,
it would give you the sword attack with the range of a rocket.
Thank you. Now I'm gonna go play Halo again.
I'll stick with my Glock. That was my weapon.
If I had to pick a weapon from a video game, I'd probably go the Hidden Blades from Assassin's Creed. That's pretty cool.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
I love how we've gotten on to top mythical weapons after governing body solutions.
We're gonna govern it ourselves.
That's right.
I want to change my.
Here's some interesting.
We in the shadows are the light.
In other gaming news, right?
I want to change my answer.
The second most complex game on Earth, behind
that's why Sean left.
No, I got knocked off. But
oh, sweet!
That's why Sean left.
Maybe Side Beyond Sight.
That's awesome.
Computer, turn off the wheel.
That's a good sword.
There we go. It lights up.
This is a good sword.
Oh.
There's mine.
I think
we're all bringing out weapons.
Mine's all start with the letter I and read import at the top. Those are my favorite weapons.
Interesting.
And anything else going on in the world today?
Yes. Is anybody here a fan of No Man's Sky?
Greg is. Greg talks about it a lot.
They dropped another freaking this open source project is freaking unreal. It's not fully open source yet, but I predict in 10 years, right, they're going to just DAO open source that game to keep it going.
Outer Worlds 2 is coming out.
But they just dropped like walk around inside it ships that you can build yourself with thousands of custom parts. It's insane. I haven't tested it out yet, but some of the videos of these things, it evokes like that scene where they fly onto the planet in Alien Covenant. They're through the mist and stuff. Like, it's really uncanny how they evoke that with these. It's amazing. They also did like 15 AI rendering updates and a whole bunch of refactors that were probably AI powered that made everything more efficient. So the game is like, AAA title made fresh in 2025 when they really haven't had to spend any major effort developing it since 2016. I mean, other than adding, right? Like that all their effort is in growth and new content, just not like it's an impressive freaking team. So you should check this project out if you guys haven't seen it. It's pretty amazing.
I was pretty happy that they open sourced, not officially, but reverse engineered the Perfect Dark ROM for Nintendo 64. And that's going to be pretty fun down the road, playing that on a computer.
Well, I'm looking forward to really get some Dracaria dragons into some of this stuff too, you know?
Right.
Like they've already got the root material to be really, really rich things that you can interact with in an AI-powered game world. So
we started talking about
what we're seeing right now
about Britain. We didn't go over Hoist the Colors.
Oh yeah, shit.
It's kind of a big thing, man.
Well, let's just whiplash everybody over from video games and fantasy swords back to the fact that our former colonial overlords are now oppressing their own people so badly that we should seriously consider interventive aid if we want to continue to hold ourselves out as champions of freedom.
That's what they were doing over here, Greg. That's why we became who we are. We were their people.
I swear to God, we'd be fucking greeted as liberators by the British people right now.
I've heard that by so many people. Their army is nothing. Their army is like less than our National Guard in our state.
Yeah, but don't they still have a navy?
NATO, we could just
You know what? They have more admirals than they do ships.
Wow,
that's impressive.
That's impressive. That is very sad, but that's impressive to have.
Usually, what happens when somebody's pirate ship goes down?
A lot, like double or triple. It's insane. They have their entire military is in the thousands and tens of thousands.
Did they lose a lot of ships, or are they making too many admirals? What's going on here?
They lost a lot of ships, they decommissioned ships, sold ships, scuttled ships.
But they still have the.
Yeah,
I thought the captains were supposed to go down with those things.
No, do you know what I learned recently that I had no idea why the United States military is better than every other military? Do you know that we're one of the only militaries that has NCOs?
Really?
Yes.
That's interesting.
No other military has NCOs. They have sergeants.
Why did we invent them? Do you know why we invented them? Particularly?
Yeah, to beat the.
They do a lot
British.
of things now, but like, what is the
like literally other military? When the officer dies, they're like, "Oh, what do we do, Sergeant? What do we do? I don't know. I do what the lieutenant tells me to do." They don't have a non-commissioned officer corps.
So it's an out-of-loop sanity checker.
It's just like for pay, but
so you're just like a private hire that jumps into this outside chain of command thing as a.
Blew my mind when I found that out. Yeah,
huh. It's like the SWIFT system for the military. They're not the banks, but they make sure the banks can send money.
But also England is so small, right? Not a ton of people. They've put up over 1 million flags. I mean, think about that. 1 million flags. That is insane. And the media is like freaking out about it. They are calling it racist, but they really can't because it's their own flag. But they say that it's
they're wiping them out of like. You can't get a crew to fill a pothole. The joke is, if you want a pothole filled, paint the flag into the pothole, and they'll have a crew out there in 10 minutes.
They started filling potholes, but they started filling and painting a flag on there, and the people got pissed. And some cities went and dug the pothole up that they had fixed, and people are like,
"No." What I saw they were doing is that they were putting the flags down in the potholes so that they would fill them.
I saw people they actually filled the pothole. And then the city went and dug the pothole up, and people were like, "That's
it's insane." Yeah. They will literally, and they also have their nanny state snitch line going still, like from the COVID days, but now it's for this kind of reporting. Right? The coronavirus Karens never got kicked out of power. There is the thing. Like they're still in charge.
Yeah,
all of them. Like they even made out of embarrassment for throwing an office party. the so-called Trump resistor to the pandemic policies of the UK flip over to being a ninny about it, right? Like he went from, this is stupid to babies must wear masks or we're going to shoot you and take them away from you. God, that time was so nutty. I can't believe that's still happening there.
I mean, they fell a long time ago.
Do you guys think there's a case for like actually rescuing them? Do you think that would be a more noble? I would certainly be more noble use than anything else we're already doing with our military on similar grounds.
Well, the officials in our government are making fun of them. I mean, J.D. Vance goes over there. It's like, free speech.
Like we should
silly.
be maybe worried about the fact that there's a little girl in jail right now because she posted videos of herself being targeted by a predator, right? And they targeted her for hate speech, basically, right? And she's the one being targeted by the system now. That's what they did. And they rough-handled her too. They rough-handled her too when they arrested her.
What's really pisses me off.
I don't know when it happened, but when I was a kid, like speech wasn't against the law. Well, neither were thoughts. Like Mr. Johnson down the street is a complete racist and thinks all people of a certain race should be kicked out of the country or killed. Right. And it's fine.
So they go ahead and fire up what was it? The thing that we did in, it was called The Crucible. I think there was a story about it called The Crucible.
He was also a cop. And he could be a cop as long as he did it. But then, honestly, because he was allowed the free speech, he was looked at under a microscope. So every time he pulled someone over, anytime he had any interaction, if he stepped out of line, he would have got stomped on because he was allowed to have that free speech. As long as you, like your personal beliefs, thoughts, and whatever you did at home, if it didn't affect your work life or you didn't try to harm any other people, that's your thing. That's what America was.
Well, and think back to this too, guys. Like, if you remember back being a tiny account in the height of pandemic era heyday spindletop censorship, right? Like, if you had a tiny account and you got crushed by authority, you didn't get out, right? Nobody heard about your story. You just sort of went down with the GoFundMe account for your defense that didn't get funded. That was like probably most of the people who got targeted back then were most of those. And the ones that sort of rallied everybody out were the big enough to be seen being oppressed ones. Think about what maybe is happening in the UK right now to the people who, their reports successfully make invisible. Right? Are we really the country of freedom? Were we full of shit? Because right now we're doing a lot of brutal stuff with our military, and we used to stand on this principle. So, and I'm not for intervention. I don't think we should go do this, but for the people who do think we should intervene anywhere in the world right now, where the fuck are you on this? You're being a coward.
Yeah.
Either if we're gonna be bellicose, we should actually do with it what we claim to do instead of just pretend to do because it's convenient.
It's Labor Day weekend. It's a great time to stand up and do something about it.
And burn flags. You can burn flags. Well, I think we did it.
That's
in fact, you can burn them in different bundles.
It's going to be illegal to burn the United States flag, which is because it's not going to be free speech. That's what they're saying. Which I think the argument has been lost for it to be free speech. When you can get arrested for burning like an Israeli flag, you can say that you lost. Yeah. You can't say that now.
How many flags do you think it would take to string together a rough, shambled version of the word freedom from? Like how many flags that you could string together and then light on fire so that they all burned at the same time, right?
Probably 7.
Then you would be burning flags, but they would be comprising protected speech. So if they'd like to see more flags get burned, then I know a good workaround to the law.
Well, here's a workaround. As many
flags as you can get, you can write in the street and then sort of light your message.
Well, speaking of messages, we're about
big loophole.
We're about to round down. Got 10 minutes to the 2-hour mark, so should we go ahead and just wrap up?
Yeah, my battery's about to go, and I don't know where my charger is. We're still unpacking here. I'm going to go first.
Well, yep, go first, Lisa.
I'm glad to be back. I love and miss all of you guys. This is one of my favorite things to do every week. Thanks to everybody that's joining us in the chat. And I hopefully will get to do maybe another show today. I don't know, but for sure I will be back on Happy Hour tomorrow evening on my channel, like Quinn Lisa on YouTube. So thanks again for having me on, guys.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us.
Hopefully we'll be getting to see you more now that you're starting to get set up.
Yes, it'll be more stable.
Cool. Well, we're
Go
glad you're
ahead,
back,
Greg.
and glad you're getting set up.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I don't know. There's a lot of weird stuff going on in the world right now, guys. I'd say lean into any one of the things that I always talk about, because that's what I always say. But I would say right now, maybe it's really important to take a step back, take a breath, and get the landscape, because there's so many different things afoot that are new dynamics because of the way things have sort of cascaded through all the changes of the first half of the year. And I think people should broaden their perspectives and see if their stories still make sense. And that would be my advice to everybody, I guess, this Labor Day weekend. That if you do one labor this weekend, challenge your assumptions just to see if they're still good.
Will do. Sean, how about you, sir?
Have a great Labor Day weekend. Check out my stuff on my channel, and hopefully me and Lisa will be around Tuesday for Tuesday.
We will next Tuesday for sure.
Okay.
Well, maybe we'll have to do it Wednesday, actually, because I have to drive Cannon back to Oklahoma Tuesday. No, will I be back? I might be back.
Okay.
I don't know. We'll talk.
Okay.
Law Zero Part 2 tomorrow?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Why don't you announce it, Andrew?
Check us out tomorrow with Greg. We're going to go over part 2 of his book, Law Zero. And we'll just keep going as long as we can. And it'll be 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube, X, Rumble. And that's about it. I do have one thing I wanted to share from Rothbard about flag burning, but if you guys don't want to do that, we don't have to do that.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Rothbard on flag burning is a classic.
Yeah. Just a second. Can you share the screen?
Oh.
It's just it's from a Pro Liberty pod. Alex is good on next. So hold on just a second. This is the first thing. Yeah. The first thing that should be clear about the flag is that it is simply a piece of cloth with parallel stripes of certain colors. So the first thing we should ask ourselves is, what is there a piece of cloth that suddenly renders it sacred, holy, and above of defilement when red and white stripes are woven into it? Contrary to many of our historical politicians, the flag is not our country. Still less is the flag the freedom of the individual. The flag is simply a piece of cloth, period. Therefore, he who tampers with or desecrates that piece of cloth is not posing any kind of threat to our freedoms or our way of life. Consider the implications of taking the contrary position. If the flag is not a piece of cloth, then that means that some form of mystical transubstantiation must have taken place, and therefore that weaving a piece of cloth in a certain manner suddenly invests in the great and awesome sanctity. Indeed, Webster's definition defines desecrate as the divest of a sacred character or office. Most people who revere the worship of the flag in this way are religious, but to apply to a secular object, this kind of adoration is nothing more than nor less than idolatry. Religious people should always be on the guard against the worship, and that's all.
The funny thing about that is it started making me think about the patent and intellectual property and trademark system, because in a way it's kind of like that too.
Yeah,
it sort of hits the same high notes as the problem, even though it's more
right.
of a dovetail.
That makes sense. So
will do, y'all. So
cool stuff,
like Andrew said, join the Legacy Ride tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time with Greg, and join us next Thursday for World Blockchain Roundtable. So that's all I got for you.
Oh wait, you forgot one, Zach. And check out last one if you haven't watched it yet.
Oh,
Little Time
yes.
for Tomorrow.
Check out.
Plus, there's an apocryphal true story, an apocryphal lie, and an apocryphal nonsense in there, right, about me. So you can get in there and learn something that's true about me, embellished with a good bit of fun fiction, as well as 2 things I'm not telling the truth about in the story. So I put that in there for everybody to come back to later for this week. And I'm telling you guys about it now too. So you should go play and see what you come up with. We can talk about it when we talk tomorrow.
All right.
Let's go.
Didn't mean to assign homework for everybody, but that's, that's what I did.
Homework. But that's your homework for Labor Day weekend. Labor.
Yep. Play along in the audience. You are invited.
Well, let us go out with the late great John McAfee.
America is not the government, people. The America is you. It is the Grand fucking Canyon, the Rocky Mountains, the deserts of the Southwest, the Pacific fucking Ocean, the Atlantic fucking Ocean. It is the grandest continent. And what the fuck